Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Real DJ Show.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, I was going to say we got rid of John, but he's on the call.
No, you can't get rid of me. I've only moved.
John Seed has a hell of an upgrade this week.
That's true. That's true.
No, it's all good. Eliza, what's going on?
Not much. How are
Welcome,
you?
everybody. This is Eliza Lyons, and she owns a company called Eliza Jane Events, which you kind of specialize in luxe,
Yes.
premium, high-end, super glorious
Those are all good words until you got to glorious.
events.
Yes.
It's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Great to see you. Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
And John's over there on the couch.
Why this is so exciting for us is that, look, we get so stuck in our own mindset about what DJs think are cool.
Yeah.
And, it self-inflates us in this echo chamber. So having another expert here to tell us and keep us in check, man, about what's cool and not cool, I think that's great.
So what we were talking to you about in the green room and pre-production and everything like
There's
that,
no
you
green
get
room.
to call a spade a spade. If you want to call us, please do. If you want to curse, you totally can do that.
Oh, we can totally curse.
But we want you to be free-flowing with all your ideas and thoughts.
Come with it.
Okay.
And think of us as the DJ industry.
You're the secondary planners, so
I love that.
that's what I call you.
I love it.
Ooh.
Us specifically
Yeah.
or the DJ?
Oh.
The DJ.
I love that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to start off first right now is kind of, what you're all about and coming from a planning perspective. Like, what do you do? Why do you lean towards more specific style events? And I'm going to start asking some tough questions about DJs because I want you to give us the kudos or the blow us up. So
Absolutely. So yeah, we specialize in usually luxury weddings, mainly weddings. I do have some other events that I do, but typically all of it is full service for the most part. The reason we want to be full service, we want to catch the mistakes early on. We want to kind of lead them through the entire planning process.
and when you say full service, is versus a day of.
Yeah, and
wanna
a lot
start
of people
from the
use the term day of. I personally, just like if you didn't have information before you show up to DJ a wedding, how can you DJ successfully, right?
Yeah.
So we've steered away from day of coordination. We do have a partial planning package, but most of what we do is full service. That means I have a couple that booked before they were engaged. And the guy says, "Hey, when do I need to get engaged?"
Oh,
Right?
awesome. That'd be a pretty good background coming into.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a
And
great
then,
idea.
but I do usually start pretty early, and do venue visits and lead them through all of booking their vendors and, what type of music they're going to have and kind of what their style is for designing the entire day.
So I would have to ask a question that, for anyone who's in the audience, maybe that's in the planning space, it's a financial aspect that you're missing out on.
Yeah.
If you had a day of versus a full planning package,
Yes.
you have a resource, like an inventory issue. 'Cause
Absolutely.
It's only you.
Yeah.
So if you take up your calendar, your date on a day of planning and a full planning package comes along,
Yeah.
you just missed out huge on financials.
Of course.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yep. And I always turn it back to for the couple, it's more of a financial benefit. I know it's more expensive, but it's more of a financial benefit to book full service. I can save you money. I have connections
Yes.
with vendors. I also, if people have minimums, I can tell you all the secrets before you get way too deep and I can't correct the problems.
You know what I thought was so cool what you said? I know I said I wasn't going to be involved, and now I'm over here. I'm chirping in from over here. I can't help it. But I thought that was so insightful what you said about hiring you before you even got engaged, because dudes screw up stuff. I mean, you can make a lot of mistakes before you've even been engaged, and having somebody help you navigate that stuff, I don't know why we don't hear more about that. That's really
Seriously.
insightful. Does that happen a lot? Do people do that?
It's starting to happen more that people will book earlier in the process, but even that guy, he's saying, Eliza, how long does wedding planning really take? Which I really do not think people understand.
Yeah.
Some people try to book, they get engaged and they want to have a wedding that year. I mean, you're pushing it,
I'm
So.
seeing a lot more posts on Instagram of people celebrating the fact that their wedding's done. And planning is done. I mean, that's all behind them. It's a lot of
It
work.
is.
And we only see it from one point of view. I mean, someone like you have a lot of work that you handle for the couple.
Yeah, and we also get the biggest thank you from the families, which is the craziest part, that they didn't have to do that. Because a lot of families are working on wedding days.
Yeah.
And, we're just not about that.
All right, so
Here we go.
question. Here it is. Here it is.
Can't wait.
The
My
rapport
favorite
building
part.
and all the
Okay.
chattery is out
All
of the way
right.
because now we're going to roll up our sleeves.
All the niceties are gone now.
So tell us the real deal. This audience that we have, specifically, they're DJs, and they're all around the world, but mostly in the U.S. So When it comes to working with DJs, I mean, you've seen a lot. We see our business and our space through a lens. What do you typically see? I mean, like what just irks you working with a DJ? What are some things that really, quite frankly, pisses you off? Let's talk about that.
Sure. I think for me, we have a lot of great vendor relationships, obviously with you guys, and you're one of our favorites, and you are our favorite. You're the top of the list.
Thank you.
So I think one of the biggest things, there's a few things. One, setup in terms of the appearance, which I know we'll chat about a little bit later on.
Of course.
I'm a clean setup person for our weddings, and then obviously for any vendors coming in as well. I think one of the other things too is communication. Something you guys are great at. But my couples want to be in the know throughout the entire process, So if I hear from a DJ once in the beginning and then I don't really hear from them again until day of, that's extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
Or until, a few weeks before, that's tough. So just keeping that communication up to date. And then I think from a planner standpoint, planners are new in this area, right? So not everyone is using a wedding planner. But when they are, planners don't want to have to jump through a million hoops. Even in the very beginning, I saw this DJ at a wedding and had a good connection. And then I had to go and fill out a form. And like every time I emailed, I had to go back to this form. I just want a connect communication point and be able to say.
That is a great
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because we just ran into that. Specifically, we did.
Yeah.
Right. And and you just explained why you don't like that process. You want one point of contact because you already have so many other details to manage. You just want, all right, I know I need to hire a DJ. I got to do it, but I want to do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And those forms sometimes are a little bit more generic or more towards the couple.
Yeah.
And sometimes I need to just reach out and see if you have the date available before I give you all the ins and outs.
And quite frankly, like when I go into a restaurant and I know the owner, I don't want to talk to the head person. I want to talk to the owner. You know what I mean? Or I want to talk to someone I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through the portal.
Absolutely.
So I can appreciate that for sure. What are some things that that DJs they can help you do your job better?
Sure.
Or I mean, you walk away working from an event or working with a vendor, and they're like, "Gosh, man, they made my job easier."
One thing I would say is understand the process. I also know that I have my own process, so I want to respect that. Okay, we all have our way of doing things. So typically when I first start to even work with a vendor, one of my questions is usually, what is your process? What steps do I need to go through? When I reach out to you, do I reach out by email to see if you have a date available, or do I go to the form? Like, I just want to have a clear heads up about what that looks like.
Expectation.
Yes, especially with a planner. Are you okay with me being the point of contact? A lot of my couples are out of state. And a lot of my couples really, they're in different time zones. They don't have time to hop on a quick call. But I, on the other hand, this is my full-time gig. So I can do that, So just kind of knowing what that process is ahead of time makes my job 10 times easier. And then I think, in terms of the planning process, timeline planning is huge for us. So you guys have a great portal. The portals are easy once we are locked in for adding songs and your questionnaires. That just helps us all to be on the same page.
Okay. So how do DJs get to be on the list?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great
This
question.
is the best part, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
seriously fake eating popcorn right now.
Yeah, I had this is a random florist one time just reach out and say, hey, let's be on each other's lists. And I just thought that felt so, I didn't really know this person. It felt weird. For me, it's if I've had a great interaction. And so, I think when I had first met you guys was actually for Rochester Weddings and, in an event we did there. And it was such a great interaction that kind of started the relationship. So I think if the relationship is good, there's been some great communication. And then ultimately, what you're selling is quality.
Right.
Because we can be friends all day, but if you don't have the great setup that I need, especially now I'm in a little bit higher budget client. And so they're looking for somebody who knows what they're doing.
Sure.
And that's huge. So,
I mean, have you had a lot of vendors that you recommended that didn't, the bottom fell out? Just like, hey, Eliza, you recommended ABC company and I can't get so-and-so on the phone. Have you ever handled that?
I haven't, but I'm very picky about it. And I guess what I would say is when I make recommendations, I would say, because they don't have to go based off my recommendations, but when I make a recommendation, I would say this person is on our preferred vendors list. If you would like another recommendation, here's another one, but I have not worked with this person. Just to kind of put that out there, because if I haven't worked with a person, I can't speak to what their quality is.
So I'm going to have you draw some math from out of nowhere.
Sure.
Right? And give me your best answer.
Okay.
So out of the times where a client has said, listen, I know we want a DJ. We're not from this area. And you give them your recommendations. How strong is that third-party credibility coming from your mouth versus like, no, I searched this up and these they seem pretty good. So do they book closer when it comes from you?
It does. I had a client recently that said, why wouldn't we take your recommendations? I think they've decided that they've hired the expert in the field to know that space. So typically 9 out of 10 times they take our recommendations, because obviously if we've worked with them, they trust that.
Got it. Yeah. So when you work with other companies, I know that's going to happen. I'm not going to hold that against you, and you're still invited back.
Thanks.
But when you work with companies that have a small stable of DJs versus like Encore, we're hovering around 13.
Yeah.
We're not a booking agency, but we have 13 different personalities that you can choose from, but we're all cut from the same Encore cloth, so the standards are going to be a certain level,
yes.
right? Do you find that you get into a mode where you'd be like, I'm going to work with Encore, but I'll only work with a certain group of people? Or how do you approach that?
That's such a great question. So, and when I first started off, I was really steering away from like bigger operations just because there's some unknowns, right?
A lot of variables.
There is,
right.
So I first steered away from that. I think for you guys, what has made me so comfortable, you go right to your website, I can see people performing. Like I can see their sets right there, I think that when it comes to, is there a small group of people? Obviously, we hear the different sets and maybe what style is a fit for the client. But I don't think there's really it's just this group. We're using one of the other DJs for an upcoming wedding that's a little newer. But I know that you're not going to send someone. Like you and I have that trust that I know you're not going to send someone who's not going to be 100% ready for that day.
Yes.
So I don't think it's really that. I think it's just more, knowing if you are using a bigger DJ company that you trust that relationship and that communication.
Do we have time for more questions? Because I could probably go on all day.
I think it's time for us to yell at each other.
Very good. I will follow up with this. From your point of view during the buying process and viewing your client, go through that process. Do all DJs have the ability to watch you have them perform? Or is it just like, I know Steve and he's really good?
Most DJ websites you go to maybe have their packages, maybe have a check my date feature and some pictures. I can't hire a DJ based off a picture. There's no sound, right? Yeah. So that's the hardest part for us. And so I'd say majority is no.
Okay.
I can't figure out why people haven't stolen that idea from us yet or any of those things. It seems so elementary to me.
It's not like it's
that
hidden.
Like, how do you take this for a test drive? How would you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's tough. I think it's, probably a combination of it's busy. It takes a lot of work to do. They're already trying to manage everything else in their business. And I don't know, it might be a little bit of laziness. Might be a little bit of just, I'm comfortable in my own space doing this. And
I think it's the last thing.
Maybe they're scared of the process.
I think it's the last thing.
Yeah.
Well, look, what I think it is, there is a comfortability and a safety that comes from not showing it. You know what I mean? Like, if you show it, you have to come with the goods, right? If you don't show it, it can be left to interpretation. Conversation's good enough, whatever. Yeah. If you show the goods, you better have the goods.
Absolutely.
All right. That's good. We should definitely.
Let's get her socials where we find you.
So very good. So connect.
Okay.
How can people connect with you?
Instagram's the best way. Eliza Jane Events _
Very good.
And Facebook on there too. Website, all that good stuff. Party Slate, check that out. That's a new one.
Really?
Yeah.
Party Slate.
Party
That's the
Slate.
event rentals
It's high end. It's a high end platform.
Oh, I think I saw that on
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah, that looks pretty sick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they get a golden retriever. Apparently, it's part of the deal.
We have a new golden retriever, so it comes with every planning package and lounge rental.
All right, right now Mickey is putting that across the board. Thank you so much. You're going to stick around to have referee some yelling and some finger pointing because I'm going to kick John's for the 4th week in a row.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of The One Thing, our weekly segment where we highlight the hardworking mobile professional DJ. Make sure you give this DJ some love in the comments below. Of course, we want you along every time, so make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the little bell so you get notifications of all of our new content. We'll see you next time.